raptor-like with a blend of other to see it for too long, but by looking at some images, we can tell that this guy was around the size of a large Suchomimus. Its overall shape seemed to be raptor-like, with a blend of other dinosaurs such as a Baryonyx with its elongated snout and Therizinosaurus thanks to its very long claws. This slender build allowed this night feeder to move at extremely fast speeds through the forest, plausible in real life. The best we can do in this case is assume that this night feeder is composed of materials and gifted with abilities that are purely fictional. The perfect example of this is its claws. As we've seen in the show, these can cut through literally anything, would be sharpened along the edges if these were to actually be able to inflict clean cuts, not lose any sharpness in the process, and also be powered by extremely strong musculature, be fastened by durable tissues, and move at supernatural speeds, and an animal would also look a little different than in the cartoon. So here we recreated a more realistic form of a night feeder, something more anatomically true to a real-life animal and fitting for our Skull Island scenario. Now that we have our more realistic night feeder, let's now drop it on Skull Island. As the parts fly all over the place, since this thing literally wields unstoppable cutting power. Not to mention that this animal prefers to kill armored creatures. And knowing Skull Island, there's tons of that here. Drinking water wouldn't be a problem if it gets ambushed by a mire of these soft, squishy tentacles. Icarus time. Armored creatures, and knowing Skull Island, there's tons of that here. Drinking water wouldn't be a problem if it gets ambushed by a mire squid, as its claws would literally make instant work of these soft, squishy tentacles. Icarus tigers would be quickly get dismembered by a swift attack. Death jackals, snakes, vine stranglers, and the mother longlegs would easily be dispatched by the night feeder. But what about them just as quick, making an attack on the night feeder a suicidal act? So what can possibly beat this thing? If this thing can smash another, inflicting thick cuts capable of dismembering this skull crawler in seconds. So is there anything that can fight back? Let's find out. For more in-depth discussion, check out Let's Talk About Ambush Predators. These animals, unfortunately for these creatures, which could now grow as big as redwoods, would be rendered to wood chips if they encountered a night feeder. Now let's talk about ambush predators. These animals, for example, hunt in the water, too deep for the night feeder to approach from the shore. They would still move too slow to avoid a lethal swing from the night feeder. Sirens are different. The only way these could kill the night feeder is if it literally steps inside its mouth trap. But the night feeder is too big for this, meaning that the only way to attack the night feeder would be if he's no longer able to stand up. Bigger Kong would still get injured, but not badly enough to handicap him, allowing him to take off at a safe distance until the next push. Or two, the shelter caves in on top of the night feeder, or the entrance is sealed shut by Kong. This animal would be able to dig its way out, but it would have to be done in broad daylight. Either way, this particular scenario proves too much for the night feeder. But is this the only animal that can kill the feeder has? Doom for this night